So we're going to start with our affirmation. If you would like to share it with me together. I am available to more good than I've ever experienced, imagined, manifested, or expressed before. And that feels good, right? Yes? Yes, okay. So last weekend, your board of directors, and whoever here is here as our board members, would you please stand up for a moment? Your administrator, Dee Richardson, and myself. So these are part of your board of directors, and thank you guys so much for everything that you do. But anyway, we went to our annual board retreat. This was our 8th annual retreat down in Branson, and a friend of ours, Dick Mills, opens up his home for us. It's a wonderful home, and we get to have the weekend there in his home. So this is actually a working retreat. We work from 9 to 5 on Friday and from 9 to 5 on Saturday. We always take a picture of ourselves at every retreat, so we have a picture for every year. But we don't just work, we also have fun. And so we always like to express ourselves in that way too. Well, this year we did something differently than we've done in the past. Now, we've always started our retreats with a prayer, with some meditation, and with intention setting. But this year, we brought in Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith's Life Visioning. And this was actually two CDs, and we spent a little over, I would say, about 3 hours with breaks and stuff, just listening to these CDs that led up to the point of where we actually did the life visioning. And so the life visioning part itself, I'm going to say, was about 35 minutes with about 20 minutes for journaling, and then we spent time talking about what emerged for us. Now, initially, we did this individually because I knew it was important that we would each be able to go to that depth of our beingness and be open to what is it that wants to emerge as us in this journey called life. And it was a pretty awesome experience. Then we did it for Unity of Springfield, but I want to share with you just a little of the process, and we're going to be talking about this more in the next weeks. So the first thing we did was we moved into, Michael Beckwith moved us into this most amazing experience of unconditional love. And, he had you think about where you felt the most unconditional love, and then he just helped you to just multiply that, and multiply it until you were immersed in love. And then you moved into questions that said, what is the highest vision for my life? What is seeking to emerge in, through, and as my life? What must I become in order to manifest the vision? What qualities must I cultivate? What must I release to manifest this vision? What talents, skills, gifts, and qualities do I already possess that will serve this vision? Then you give a sacred yes to the vision and enter into a state of gratitude. Now, I'm going to share with you that this was an amazing experience for all of us. I mean, it was deepening, it was opening, it was relaxing, it was beyond anything that most of us had ever experienced before. And, a few of our board members shared that it was the most relaxed that they have felt in years going through this meditation. And what emerged for each of us individually was so beautiful. And obviously, I'm not going to share that. That's personal to each and every person. But we each felt such a depth of gratitude for this experience. So then we spent some time talking about things that we were there to discuss. And I want to tell you that a big part of going into this weekend was the budget. And, Jim Cotts, our board treasurer, and we've shared before, we can't keep doing what we've always done because we're going to get what we've always gotten. And we cannot keep doing what we've done because we cannot do it anymore. And so, this was big on our agenda. And so the next afternoon, the next morning, so the next morning is when we did our visioning. And so we got up, we had breakfast, and then we went to this nice area in the house. And we took these questions and we said, in our own beingness, went through the process again. What is the highest vision for Unity of Springfield? What is seeking to emerge in, through, and as Unity of Springfield? What must we become in order to manifest this vision? What qualities must we cultivate? And we went through all of these various questions. And then we spent some time journaling, and then we shared with each other. And it was so beautiful because different things emerged for different people. And it was kind of cool because there were a few people that actually saw a vision of a building. They saw the skyline of a building. They could actually see what was in that building and the people and the various things that would be wonderful for us to have. And it was interesting because for me, the words love and serve were prevalent. I mean, it was like immediate. The love and serve were prevalent, and all through that entire visioning. And when I opened my eyes, and Dee is sitting next to me, and the words on her paper are love and serve and message. And so we had all gone around and shared, and then we were talking about this whole idea that many times what we do in our lives, and I think what we've done for so many years, and we've always done the best that we could, but we've gone into our weekend in our heads. We try to get in our hearts, but we go in our heads and we say, okay, what are the next steps? What are the things that we need to do? And initially it was going to be that going into this because we're at a critical point with our budget. And, but what this did was it moved us so out of our head and so into the greater realm. And that thing that kept coming was that it was never about the budget. It was never about the figuring out the how-to. How are we gonna get more people here? How are we gonna create more income? It became about the greater aspects, the qualities of God that we're wanting to emerge through us as Unity of Springfield, and that's love through service and service through love. And that's all it's about. Love through service and service through love for each other, for our families, for our work environments, for our neighborhoods, for when we're just out and about, for our community, and for our world. That's what it's about. And that's really seeking first the kingdom. And we talk about this a lot. Seek first the kingdom, and all these things are added unto you. And that is exactly when we're really allowing that which is the greater reality to emerge as us. And whatever way that evolutionary pull is pulling us, then all these things are added unto us. There's just no doubt. There's no doubt about it. So ultimately, we ended up doing all of our planning in about half the time that it would normally take us, because we spent about half of our time in this process. And it's that reminder, God first, God first. We go here first, but in our humanness, where do we want to go first? Head boom, head boom, head boom. We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. But we deepen into that greater. And we thought we had in the past. That's the thing. We absolutely took that time to do that. This was so different. So for 4 or 5 weeks, we're going to be talking about this visioning process. And we're going to be talking about various aspects, and I promise you, you will benefit so much from this material. Michael Beckwith is an amazing spiritual leader at Agape International in Los Angeles. Amazing. So he says the life visioning process is a life-changing spiritual technology of conscious participation in the evolution of your consciousness. Whether you are now ready to step into the highest vision for your life or are endeavoring to ready yourself, visioning is a trustworthy guide and an ally on your path. And here's the little twist. I urge you to keep in mind that visioning is not a personal delivery system for dropping at your doorstep the baubles of the world. It's about the evolution of who and what you are as a unique, individualized emanation of Source, and what you have come on the planet to learn, express, and contribute. Visioning is an adventure into your own deepest self to discover there all the gifts, talents, and requisite qualities of consciousness to live a most excellent life, a life of yes. And I loved that shift, because so many times, and as you'll hear in the next weeks, there's different levels, and we start with the victim level, where we're thinking that life is happening to us, and we're in blame, and we're in resentment and unforgiveness, and then we go to the manifester level, and a lot of us get caught in the manifester level, and it's all about acquiring things. It's all about making things happen. And then we move to the ASMI level, and the ASMI is when we're really starting to dance with the presence, and we're allowing. And that's the through me level. That's the through me level. ASMI is when we're recognizing I am it expressing. I am the divine, I am source expressing. I am that. I'm not all that God is, but all that I am is God. And the beautiful thing about this is that we're going to vacillate in all of these. We're going to be all over the place in all of these. Now, ultimately, most of us will get out of the victim one pretty quickly. But we vacillate in the other ones, and that's okay. They're all important to the evolutionary process. There is a lyric in a song that says, "The song that you've been holding back is the cause of your heartache. Don't wait. You've got to sing your song as if your whole life depends on it." And I love that out of the Gnostic Gospels, the Gnostic Gospels are a collection of about 54 ancient texts based upon several spiritual leaders that were written between the 2nd and 4th century AD. And out of the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus said, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you." Ouch, that's like pretty rough, isn't it? But what this is saying is that we are spiritual beings, and that we come into the world and we get so caught up in life and we forget who we are. And instead of being in the world but not of the world, we become of the world. And we become of the world in such a way that we think that it's all about what's out here. That's where our happiness lies. That's where everything about what is good in our life is. And so when we really get this, that it's about what is wanting to evolve, what is that evolutionary pull that's pulling something more, that wants to emerge as us. What is God's idea of itself as me at this particular moment of time? Then it does save us, because we start living a more original and a more authentic life, and we start living a life that is not dependent upon how people show up or what's happening in the world around us. We start living a life based in the knowingness that we live and move and have our being in something so amazing and so vast and so magnificent that is limitless in its potentiality and possibility, and that we are never alone, and that we are goodness itself expressing, and that we matter, that every single one of us matters. We matter. What it is that we have to bring forth in any given moment, it matters. And it's not about that every single one of us is supposed to have some quote-unquote big dynamic message to bring to the world. The thing is, the biggest message that we bring to the world is the message of love. That's the biggest message that we bring to the world. The message of love through our authenticity. The message of oneness and kindness and compassion and peace and hope and joy, of truth. That's the biggest message that we have to bring forth. And the reality is that we get to choose. We get to choose if we're going to really step into the evolutionary unfoldment of our souls, or are we just okay staying where we are, doing what we've always done, somehow thinking we're going to get a different result. Because by golly, if that person just did something different, and if this situation just changed, and if, then my life would be okay. No. It's about us. And it's about the most exciting journey that we can take in our lives. And to me, that's what this visioning process offers us, is that opportunity. We are unlimited beings. Do you know that you're an unlimited being? Yeah. Okay, how about saying, I am an unlimited being? Why don't you turn to somebody and say, you're an unlimited being? And turn to somebody else and tell them you're an unlimited being. And somebody else, tell them you're an unlimited being. That feels pretty good, doesn't it? Yes, thank you. There's a little line in a song by Ricky Beckwith, and it says, pain pushes until the vision pulls. And for me, this is where we kind of shift from that, where we consciously get to choose to heed the call of that evolutionary impulse. And so it's said that suffering is the great awakener. How many of us have been awakened by pain and suffering? Yes, yes. Because we don't change voluntarily very easily. And many times we have to hit bottom. But when we hit bottom, what he says is then that the pain becomes the impetus for genuine transformation. You know, the pain does. It becomes the impetus for genuine transformation. But if we remain stagnant, then pain is going to become our friend. And it's not really our friend, is it? But it's going to hang out with us a lot because pain is not there to hurt us. It's to tell us that we're living in too small of an inner world. But the beautiful thing about the life visioning process is the life visioning process invites us. It invites us to be open to that evolutionary pull. It invites us to, and in everything, you know, the thing I love about the life visioning process is it's not a one-time thing. You know, anything that we have going on in the ministry, we can sit down and we can do this visioning process, and it's important to do because we want to get out of our heads and we want to get into the greater mind, the greater intelligence, and allow that to be what guides us. And I'm going to tell you that this experience was so amazing for us because, again, you know, we did all of our actual work in half the time we would have normally done it, and the things that just flowed out of that. And it's funny because I know the few board members came back and came to church on Sunday, and afterwards we talked, and they're like, you know, I don't know if anybody noticed that I'm different. You know, I'm expanded. We all talked about, we all felt it. And we all are different because of the experience that we had with this, every single one of us. And we're excited. We're excited about, you know, what has unfolded there. Michael Beckwith says the purpose of visioning is not simply about the narrow confines of personal fulfillment. It is an expansion of consciousness into the realization of your true self, that true essence of who and what you have come here to be. And so the question we ask is, what is God's idea of itself as me? Think about that for a moment. Just let yourself be in that. In fact, let's ask that question together. What is God's idea of itself as me? And how beautiful of a question is that? And you know, when we move into the place where he helps us to get to, when we are in that place of pure unconditional love, that's when it begins to emerge. Because if we're not there yet, then we're kind of like, oh God, I have too many things that God would want to express itself, you know, through this beingness. But what is God? So what we went to was, what is God's idea of itself as unity of Springfield? I'm going to share that with you. This is like our rally report. So love through service and service through love. And here's what I want to say. You're all a part of this. Today we're hoping that you're going to catch the vision. We're hoping that you're going to see where you can be a part of and start, you know, going into this visioning together. At the end of this, I'm going to offer one or two opportunities where we're actually going to get, you know, I'll have the CDs and we'll move into that visioning process. And I'll try to make a couple opportunities so that everybody who wants to be a part of that can, because again, it's powerful. So one of the things that we want to do is expand our campus ministry. Do we have a campus ministry? Oh, we don't. That's right. That's right. I forgot. We want to create a campus ministry. Yeah. We want to create a campus ministry. You know, it's interesting because like on MSU campus, there's a minister that goes with a microphone and tells people how awful they are. And we don't want to get up there with a microphone, but we want to be there with signs, and we want to be there with love, and we want to remind people that, hey, we're here and you're good and you're loved, and you know, move beyond just MSU. And we want to get our next generation unity going in a big way. Next generation unity, all of this comes into our millennials. Our millennials are 18 to 35-year-old. These are the families of the future of this ministry. And we want to reach out to any of you millennials that are here today, and we want to ask you, what is it that you want? You know, what are your needs? What do you see for your ministry? Because this is going to be your ministry at some point. And how can we support you in that? Now, as I said, as ideas came, and you know, one of the things is what talents and skills and all these things you already have. Well, man, we had like our board already is like amazing, and how they are in action in this ministry, but it was like another level. And so each one of our board members is going to go to a different church that has a lot of millennials in it, has 2 services, a contemporary and a traditional church, and just check it out and see what they do and see what it is that draws the millennials. In our junior Sunday school, we want age-appropriate classes for our kids. And you know what that's going to take? It's going to take you. It's going to take you deepening in your heart and saying, is this my call? Can I be a part of this junior Sunday school ministry and volunteer once or twice a month? You can come to a first or second service, get a free copy of the service. Lessons are provided, but let's get these kids in age-appropriate classes. Let's get them in a place where they're really getting and deepening into the principles of unity. Carrie Brashear, one of our board members, already working full-time, mom, married, already on the board. She said, I'm gonna start a 4th and 5th grade class. She's over there today in the teen house, and she's doing the 4th and 5th grade class. That's what I'm talking about. Things that we looked at for just, how can we create more income? And our teen house is in use only part of the time, so let's open it up to some meetings during the week, or people maybe want to have small birthday parties, have Fellowship Hall or Sanctuary have member and non-member prices. We're going to do our online sales, and we have our yard sale, but we're also going to do a semi-annual at this point, but antique and collectible sales. Get us out into the community. This is one of the biggest things that we have heard, and that we have heard from millennials, where they want to be out in the community. And so Amy Burnett has stepped up to say she's going to create the big first community event that we're going to get outside of these walls. And because we recognized, we had a meeting and only like 4 people came, and then we recognized it wasn't so much that you guys wanted to create it, you just want us to tell you, hey, here's this opportunity. She's going to create that opportunity. We all get to wear our cool t-shirts. If you haven't gotten one, I encourage you to, and go out into the community. And then we know that emerging from that experience, we're going to have leadership step up in that, and we're going to be out in the community all the time, because it's important for us to be out there. And in fact, Mary Hilsebeck, our board president, said, I'm going to make sure that we have a presence at Pride. Now, the Pride Fest is June 17th on Park Central Square. It's the largest LGBT event in Southwest Missouri. We're going to be there because Mary stepped up to that. We want to do a prison ministry where we get our books and our CDs into the prison, but we'd also like to have people go in and maybe do some meditation in the prisons. We need to market our events better, and you know what? You can help with that. When you check in here on Facebook, that's awesome. And on Monday, about Monday afternoon, you can get onto either our website or you can get onto our Facebook page, and you can share the message from today. You can share any events that are going on today. We have flyers. If you would take flyers out and around, we have all kinds of ways to market, and in free ways to get the message out here of what we have going on here. And then more social gatherings. I love Simone Height, likes to call them fundraisers. And so we have things on the calendar like a float trip, putt-putt golf, sushi night, luau. And there's probably more. But, things that we can come together in a social way just to be with each other and have some fun. And we want to offer practical classes to the community. So if you know of some organizations that would like to come in and use our space to teach about budgeting, and I would love for somebody to teach me about my smartphone and to teach me a little bit more about Facebook, some things about computer, oil changes, things like that. And today is the first Sunday. And on the first Sunday, Kenneth doesn't teach on the first Sunday. So Paul Arm Connect and Mary Hilsebeck said starting next month, they're going to be in Fellowship Hall, 9:15 to 11:15, and they're going to show little snippets of videos from something like Upworthy, something like that, and then just open up for dialogue. Again, it's bringing us together. And, we talked about as leadership how important it is for all of us, but you guys, for every one of us, how did you feel the first time you came in here? And my hope is that you felt welcome. I hope that you felt welcome. I hope that you felt loved, and I hope that you still feel that. And if you didn't feel that, I apologize for that, because that's something that it's important to us. We don't want to work towards that anymore. We just want to be it. And so think about when people are coming into this ministry and welcoming them, making sure that they know that they're valued, that they matter. And not only that, I would wonder, as we look in this room right now, how many of us actually know each other? And how many of us would look at each other and go, I see you on Sunday morning. And how, some of these things like Friendship Sunday, that we could really come and get to know each other, know about our lives. We're a spiritual community. We're a spiritual family. And that's love. That's love. And so we have wonderful opportunity here at Unity of Springfield. We are so ready. We've been working on this actually for about the last couple of years, leveling up and then calling up higher. And now more than ever, we're ready. And what we know, it's interesting because I read that the Assemblies of God is buying the palace. And then I saw this church down here that's building, and I'm like, I don't get it. And yet I do, because we've played small. And how many of us play small with our message? How many of us are really afraid to let our light be so brilliant and to tell people about it? You know what Friendship Sunday is really about? Bringing a friend. Oh, what a novel idea, huh? The majority of people have found their way through somebody asking them. We've lost a few congregants that I never thought would leave this church because somebody kept asking and asking and asking. And so we are primed to get this message out, to let people know that we're here. It's not that we want to be a mega church. That's not what this is about. But we know this message. We know the power of this message. We know that it is life-changing and that it changes our lives individually. How many of us feel that our lives have changed because of this message? Yes. In a big way, yes? Yes. And so now it's time for us not to play small anymore and to just love out loud. To love out loud, to love each other, and then to take this love out into our community. And so, are you on board? Yes. Yes, we're on board. And so when we go to do this affirmation one last time, I'm going to ask you to look at it differently and to look at it as the recognition I'm available to more good. I'm available to that good that wants to emerge as me. The good that wants to emerge as me has nothing to do with the world out here, although my life will just continue to get better and better. But it's really about bringing forth the glory, the magnificence, the fabulousness of the godness that you are. So let's share in this together. I am available to more good than I've ever experienced, imagined, manifested, or expressed before. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. Namaste. Namaste.